Our first speaker is Freddie Siva from School of Nursing and Health Professions, who will discuss GenAI in Flux, framing the conversation.
Thank you so much. I want to echo Nicole's gratitude to all the team that have done an amazing job. So I brought a lot of content here, and as you know, you're going to have access to these plus videos. So I'm going to see how much I can cover in 30 minutes. So I've been asked to give a framework. It's been a year since we last met as a community. And the question is, hopefully to frame the conversation, building on what Nicole said, what happened? I mean, where are we on the whole process? So hopefully I'll give you some useful things. One of the questions that especially I started last year when I talked is questioning, is AI a fad or not? Is it here to stay? Can we hide from it or not? So that was one of the questions a year ago. So I'm going to go into some of these and offer you a way to reflect, to think about. So on me and my positionality, I'm a faculty here. I'm also a candidate in the doctoral program at the School of Education. So I'm a proud student too. So I kind of see these both ways as a student and as a faculty. And I'm a practitioner. My background is from industry. So I am what's defined a technology enthusiast. I always look at it as a way to empower communities that usually are not, in a way for people to really understand it. So I just want to put it out there that I'm sitting on that part of the spectrum. However, I'm having built some of these things and having worked with AI for the past 10 years, not GenAI, but the mothership AI, I kind of bring my own biases into the conversation. So what happened this year since we last met? So this thing is not a fact. This thing is here to stay, and most of you here, most of us are using it, like it or not. So this is some of the data. 55% of Americans use AI regularly. Students, half of students out there, according to one of these surveys, are using AI. And our upcoming survey that the ETS and team have done, it's saying that our students here are way up there on the use. So to the extent that we think, nope, let's just ignore this, hopefully we can reflect. And the last piece is, employers are looking for students who have these skills. And they are basically ahead of faculty, ahead of us, ahead of educators, generally not only in the US, not only USF, but in general. So some reflection for us to think about it. What else happened? So again, ideally I'll give you a framework. When we discuss, one of my concerns, and everybody's concern is like, we keep feeding these big technology companies, what are the social implications being where we are here, and everybody's fighting to have a monopoly and cost billions of dollars to build it, and now we have our IT groups struggling to get us the tool, but it's too expensive. So there is hope. So this is one of the things. There is just basically that dominance got broken by a tiny, underfunded Chinese company that basically say, you know what, we don't need fancy computer chips, we don't need billions of dollars in the bank, we can build this, and they did it. And now, guess what, a small group in Stanford and other schools with $50, and repeat, 50, they were able to build a model that was mind-blowing using open source. That's something that we hear in academic papers, we understand. So this is good news. Again, I'm an optimist, so policy is getting a little, kind of here and there. Let me talk on policy. So we're going back and forth. Which again, as a mission-driven institution, this is important for us to know. especially technology, especially those of us who grew up here and are embedded into the system, it's hard for regulation to catch up with technology. This is the case in this one. So this is a call for us, mission-driven institutions, faculty, staff, leadership, to step in because our students are using this. These products are being used on us, so we gotta get ahead. So there's a lot of going back and forth. There was a California veto, and mind-blowing this last sentence, which says 700 bills at this were introduced, and only 20% got approved. 700 bills. Think about that one. So the idea is this semester, this year is going to go worse. So there is a need out there to do that. At the global level, a little more encouraging, especially in some of the big AI players in Europe and China. So things are getting a little smoother, better understanding, limitations, liabilities, watermarking. So it is encouraging. Having said that, I presented that last year, and I always use it on my research. There's a lot of challenges. So if you look at and I could have gone forever. So there's a lot of ethical and operational challenges on this technology, but there's also ethical opportunities that we need to make sure we understand so we can basically help our students and our leadership and our staff. Some of the issues is, who's accountable. It goes back to, it's a self-driving car does something, who is responsible? And, laws are not very clear. We learn, and we have conducted here a workshop on AI detection. Not perfect. We keep 20 years after the boom of the internet, we keep struggling with, antiviruses and companies selling it and people breaking it. So we got into this. So these tools are not perfect. So most of faculty and educators are relying on this and believe that we can catch that. We can, and we're flagging students who basically are usually the most marginalized. So again, something to keep in mind. And so I touch on this. So again, as an institution, focus on equity, focus on empowering students for social change. What does that mean for us? On use cases, as you know, I'm part of the School of Nursing and Health Informatics. Good news, healthcare is going really embracing this. So very critical because we're talking about human lives at stake. But I was telling somebody, I just went to my doctor for a checkup, and I was fascinated. My conversation got recorded, they asked me for permission. I got beautiful statements of, hey, this is what happens, this is what you say, this is what you should be doing, right? And that was a partnership, and the clinician was looking at my eyes. It's like, oh my God, this is heaven. So, because they're freeing their time, instead of typing and looking at the machine, to connect with me, to know what really matters with me, as opposed to just being, in and out, 15 minutes, whatever. So this is happening in some specific areas of healthcare, which is mission critical. Here, thanks to everybody in this room, to leadership, to staff, to all the teams, we've been making a lot of progress in the sense that, there is a certificate that you guys have done an awesome job. I took all the classes you have, and it's amazing. I wanted to know, how we are empowering faculty. So this is a good number so far, and this is a week old or what have you. And also, there is a lot of things going on campus to be able to critically understand this technology, which I encourage everybody to be extremely critical about this technology and to understand what's not good at it, and what is good at it. A lot of groups popping up. I'm part of several of those. People are saying, we want to do this. We don't still, it's not out there, but we want to discuss it. We want to be part of. There's this conference. There's another one on Friday. I'm part of groups talking about faith in AI. And we are not different than most schools within the work that we do with the American Association of Colleges and Universities. We see and we compare notes that that's what's going on. There's not a few schools have a mandate and centralized and budgets and resources and people. We say, okay, these are our people, but it seems like we as faculty, we as educators, we as staff and leadership, we are basically trying to learn and to engage with this technology because we're not gonna be left behind. So this is the nice things. We do need at some point, and some universities are ahead with clear institutional guidelines and with students' voices, of course. We all need fluency. We need some, and when we say we as educators, and this is popping up in all universities across the US and the world. So this is a seminar. There's been a lot of efforts, the UAC, which I'm also a member. We did a seminar for this. Nicole was there too. And there's a lot of interest from faculty and educators to know what's the right thing to go about it. And some of the calls are, let's be mindful that these technologies are flawed. There's a lot of research that is coming up on where do I use it. I don't know you, but I own a car. I use my car. My car is parked for 90% of the time. It's not 95, but I still use a car. So all these technologies are flawed. We need to understand, we need to engage, because if we're not part of the conversation, especially as concerns we're going to basically be behind. We're not going to have our voice out there. So some of the things that we kind of encourage it, this is something that I practice on my classes, is, teach discernment, teach process as opposed to outcome. Teach how to critically and ethically use these tools. Because we talked about it, legislation, frameworks are behind, and they're going to be behind for a long time. So we got to get ahead of it as educators. And this is a pretty nice piece on the right, highly recommended, that says, this is where this technology works. This does not work, so do not go there. So a lot of people are doing work on it. By truly yours, I do what I speak, so I started from scratch a class, which we taught, in last semester, calling Exploring GenAI Ethics, where our students basically took this technology apart and just applied it specifically for healthcare. Where can we use it? What are the ethical issues? What are the people that we want? How do we increase delivery? And where we should not touch it. So it went pretty well. Hopefully we can extend it to other programs. This semester went the other way around and say, well, can I add a module? Can I get an existing class and add GenAI to it? Because most of the educators here just need help moving some assignments, not just changing the whole thing. So I'm testing it. My students are playing with agentic AI, stuff that works on its own, on healthcare. Think about it. And the question is, how do we interrogate it? How do we understand it? Which is pretty nascent technology. And where do we stop it? When do we have that human in the loop? We need to understand it. So this is a long list. I'm not gonna, of course, I'm flying tomorrow. I'm presenting at the American Association of Colleges and Universities, some of this work representing the university, so thank you. And of course, I'm doing my research, my doctorate thesis on AI ethics in higher education. So, and part of my thing is to give back, and I've been publishing some of the findings already. So I'm almost done. So reflections, GenAI is not a moment, it's a movement. This thing is happening, and it's gonna involve already all of us here. Let's think about how do we design with GenAI ethics and foresight, because legislation is behind, it's gonna be behind, and tools are imperfect. Think about our values. How can we do this better? And reflect as leaders, because educators, some of us who teach here, we're leaders, we're leading our students. So how do we engage critically, deeply critically with this technology, especially now as prices come down, we have this open source stuff, and it's gonna become much easier for universities, not the Stanfords and the Berkeleys and with big endowments, but university like ours, to have access to some of these tools. And to conclude, and I'm getting the 5 minutes, so hurry up. So good news, and I'm an optimist. Global, state, civil society actors, all these nonprofits, all these academia now, the technology doesn't come from academia. Like in the past, we have the internet, we have all of these things. So they're getting with frameworks. This is the way we think about it. So there's a lot of engagement in all the industry. The workforce do want people trained with these type of skills. Good news, and hopefully Chris is not here. This is not a computer science thing anymore. People in the social sciences are well equipped to use this technology and to leverage, to understand it, because you talk to it. You type the way you type your friends. So this is good. Escape the labs in a positive way. So some universities are ahead, deploying this across curriculum. Hopefully we become one of those. We are at the center of the GenAI revolution. Hopefully, and we are a mission center institution. Hopefully we grab that opportunity. Usually people ask me, what am I reading? This is the list I offered last symposium. We were here together. And then I'm adding another list for you guys to look at it. And some of them are like, whoa, I have to read it 2 or 3 times to really understand what it is. Most of it is non-technical. It's social science. And then, of course, I threw some technical stuff. I am writing. I'm sharing. So I know some of you are my readers now in my freebie newsletter. So anybody who wants to learn about tools and changing and what are the key things, I'm trying to put there, and I put a lot of links to research and stuff. So, and again, I'm a geek. Gratitude, first my students for engaging, everybody in this room and all the committees here. This is a way to reach me. Transparency. I use GenAI hours and hours every day. This work is shaped, is driven, is my work. But I do use the tool that I'm trying to interrogate, and I encourage everybody to use the tool and be critical about it, because it can do a lot of good things. And I'm a geek too, so a lot of references if anybody wants to read it. So thank you so much. I appreciate you.